I'm getting the truck ready for Z Nationals, but while I do it, I'm thinking about some of the mistakes that people make in terms of aesthetic modifications on their cars, Q50s in particular, but I'm also thinking about some of the cars that I've seen that people have done a really good job on. So I'm going to give you a list of my 5 essential aesthetic modifications for your Q50, but really any car. I'm going to put these in order in terms of my opinion as far as most important to least important. You guys might disagree or might have other opinions, so let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. But I'm going to say number 1, suspension. Now, I'm not even differentiating between coilovers and lowering springs. It's just suspension in general. It gets rid of that wheel gap. It gives the car a lot more of a sleek look. It looks 10 times better, and it's functional too because the car is going to handle a lot better. Another thing I'd add to that is that I've seen cars with factory wheels look a million times better just by lowering it. Speaking of wheels, I'm going to say wheels are number 2. Some might put wheels ahead of suspension, but like I said, I think suspension on factory wheels can even look a lot better than just a regularly stanced car. On the flip side of that, I've seen people on factory suspension get fancy wheels and the car looks like crap just because of that wheel gap, and now it looks funky with those larger wheels and the car just not sitting right. And even a good set of wheels making the car look good are still going to be functional depending on what you get, but you got to be careful too, because if you get the wrong set of wheels and they're too heavy, for example, or they're too wide for the car, it could hinder performance, so keep that in mind. But wheels, number 2. Now number 3 is a rear spoiler. This is a tough one too because the next one on the list is really crucial, but a spoiler, a good spoiler, especially on a Q50, is really important. A lot of cars, particularly the Q50, is built front heavy. Now, heavy in terms of design, not physical weight. So it needs something on the rear of the car to sort of balance it all out to make it look normal. So even with a small factory spoiler, it just doesn't quite cut it. So a nice, aggressive spoiler on the back of a Q50 works wonders. Obviously, there is a ton of different styles to choose from, so be a little bit careful, be reasonable, use common sense. But I gotta say too that if you're not careful and you choose the wrong one, a rear spoiler actually can hinder performance of your vehicle too. So just keep that in mind. But overall, it's gonna totally change the look of your car. I think it's an important addition. It's number 3 on the list. Like I said, number 4 is crucial, but I'm gonna give you a couple of honorable mentions first. First honorable mention is a rear diffuser, although it is truly a really nice look. I think it's sort of a secondary addition. It's not really visible from the profile of the car, so you don't really notice it all that much, and that's why it comes in as just an honorable mention to me. The second honorable mention is side splitters. Kind of the same reason as the rear diffuser. It's more of a secondary consideration for a lot of people. You do see it from the profile, and it does give the car kind of a lower stance look, but I think it's something that people pursue after wheels and tires and suspension and real spoilers and things of that nature are already done. So for that reason, side splitters, honorable mention. And the final honorable mention, and this was kind of a tough one because it was one of my favorite modifications to the Q50, and that of course is a carbon fiber custom steering wheel. I chose the gloss black. That was my preferred look over the carbon fiber, but it really does change the interior look of the car. But again, when I think of aesthetic modifications, I don't always necessarily think about the interior. I think more about how the car looks rolling down the road or parked at a show. People are just walking by, taking it all in. They're not necessarily seeing your carbon fiber, your custom steering wheel, especially if you have the 4th most important aesthetic modification done to your vehicle, and that of course is window tint. Number 4 on the list for the most important modification used loosely in this regard. Window tint totally changes the look of your car. It's, I think, one of the most important upgrades that you could make. Nobody likes driving around in a fishbowl. Nobody likes pulling up to a stop sign and having people watch you jam a double quarter pounder of cheese down your throat. I almost wanted to put window tint ahead of a rear spoiler just because I think it's really important, and I think, of course, it keeps the interior of your vehicle cool, but it really changes the look of the car, quite honestly. However, I've seen a lot of nice cars done. I've seen a lot of nice Q50s done up really well with no tint or very light tint. Some of those northern states in particular don't allow dark window tint, and you could get yourself in a little bit of trouble with it, and nobody wants to deal with that. So I don't put tint as high up on this list just because a lot of people can't pursue that dark tint simply because of where they live. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Gotta admit, up to this point, I had chrome delete on the list because it's my preference in a lot of applications. But for getting outside of Q50s, it doesn't necessarily apply all the time. However, I came across a post today on social media, somebody local. I'm gonna link his page in the description. I'm gonna show you some clips here. No chrome delete, and this car is clean as hell. It made me second guess whether or not a chrome delete truly is needed on the Q50 or not. Let me know what you guys think. Here we go, number 5. Here we are, number 5 on the top 5 most important aesthetic modifications that you can make to your Infiniti Q50, and that is another tough one. I'm going to say a front splitter. Now, it's number 5. It's on the list because I think it does really make a big difference in how the car looks. It gives it that more of an aggressive kind of stance. It gives, again, a little bit of kind of aggressiveness to the front end, especially in the non-sport versions of the car. And I gotta say, that's why this is number 5 on the list, because the sport model Q50s already have a pretty aggressive front bumper, and that's one big benefit going with the sport model over the non-sport. In fact, I think the sport front bumper actually looks better without a front splitter. Some might disagree with me there. In any case, the non-sport Q50s really can benefit from a front splitter. Adds a more crisp line to the front end of an otherwise sort of roundy, so-so kind of front bumper. That's why it's on the list, but I gotta say, because of the sport models already look aggressive, it had to be pushed down to number 5. Otherwise, it might be a little bit higher. But there's my top 5 most important aesthetic modifications for your Q50. Let me know whether you agree or disagree, or let me know what you think just in general. Throw them down in the comment section below. I'd like to know what you guys think is the top 5. Next video might be of Z Nationals. We'll see if I can get one put together. Otherwise, I got some other Q50 related content coming up, so I hope you guys will stick around. Thanks for watching this one. See you in the next one.